Now the reason I use the dart or a pointy thing rather than the pencil is because I get a much finer line when I start tracing around here. And when you're cutting it out, you're right? No, you're not getting any more. The finer the line, the easier it is to cut. Whereas if you've got a fat line, when you come to put it together, your margin for error is a lot bigger. So we'll just mark these out. I used to love running Marquetry courses. You could always tell if you had a good course because everyone was quiet. Bring it in like that. So that's just that section I've marked there, and that's what it looks like. Take it off, pick another nice piece. Doesn't have to be the same, it can be a little bit different. And there we go, might put that bit up there. Make sure that the grain is running with what you've got on the shell. Pick up the dart or stylus. I think the correct name is stylus. Oops. And there's that piece. Now the last piece, I like to find something with a bit of pizzazz in it. So I might just actually grab this. It's a bit of nice bit of burl there. So I'm just going to grab that for the end piece. And then this mouth, the mouth of the shell, I generally have that in a contrasting colour because it's the inside of the shell and you don't have the same colour on the inside as you do on the outside. In most cases it's lighter, but with Marquetry we can use poetic license and I tend to have it a little bit darker. So what I will do, I'll line up these lines again with the piece that I want to use. Carbon paper underneath it and just draw around it. Alright, that's it. Now once you've got those drawn out, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 bits, pick up your knife and it's then just a question of cutting them out. Now when you're cutting out, don't try and do it in one go. You've got to stroke it and stroke it and stroke it, and eventually it'll cut through. You'll think, oh, a thin bit of veneer can cut it in one hit. No, you're going to ruin it. So it's just a question of a little bit, and don't try and do it all at once. Just do one side at a time and overcut if you have to. So start the cut before you need it and go past the finish of it. And what I said, I wasn't concentrating there. It broke out there, but that's okay because I don't need that bit. So it's just very, but honestly this is like watching paint dry, watching this. But I think of all the woodworking techniques that I've employed over my 30 odd years as a furniture maker, this by far is a technique I enjoy more than anything Marquetry. I think it's, maybe it's a dying art, but you can just lose yourself literally for hours. And at the end of the day, what have you done? Oh, not much, I made a seashell. Ah. You see how I'm not cutting that through, it's going, but very, very gently. In fact, there's just about the weight of the knife and maybe a little bit force, but not much. And this is going to be a bit tricky here because that burly bit is going to be prone to split out. But if it's a winter's day outside, you can do this inside. I was going to do this in the in-house workshop, but I had all the cameras and everything down here, so I thought, that's it. So I might do one later. Oh, look at that, we lost a bit of that. That's just broken off there, so what I'll do is, this is just ordinary sticky tape, and you make little sutures up on it if you like, or little band-aids, and just cut it into sections. Now, that little piece of sticky tape there, you can see it's just a little square. I'm going to put that over where that chip came out, and that will hold it just long enough to glue it up. Start it before you need the cut and end it after the cut. That way you're relieving any pressure on the edges. This is bony stuff, I tell you. Okay, so that's one piece cut out. Yeah. Now, this other bit that came off, we should be able to cut through and get out now. You'll need, if you want to do marquetry, a lot of it, you need a gas burner. Now, what I've got in here, it's just sand that I got from a pet shop, and it's what you put on the bottom of a bird cage, or you can put in aquariums. And that's the bottom of a fruit tin. I just cut it off and hammered the edge over so it's not sharp and I can't cut myself. And the reason for that is they're cheap, so it doesn't matter. And then you just turn this on, shoot it a couple of times, boom, there we go. And the reason I've got that on is because then we're going to scorch the pieces of veneer, which gives us a shadow type effect. And this shell's a great one to start on. So back to the shell. Corners are the worst, but it's just, look, it's like anything else, it's just practice. What do you want, mate? He's lining up for more toast. Ah, you big lump. So you can tell this isn't a chatty sort of thing. You really do have to concentrate while you're doing it. We're getting there. Slowly, oops, and it jumped out. There you go. So that's 3 of the parts. Now I've got to cut out the mouth of the shell, and then we can start putting this puppy together. This is tough too, this Rio rosewood. Whoa. And there's nothing wrong if you feel as if it's starting to break or split. Come from the other side. Comes around and it's in there, like so. This dark area in here is what we're going to do now. I'm going to burn that, and that will represent the shadow that the different segments of the shell cast. So you have to work out yourself which way you want the sun to be coming. If it's coming this way, then your shadow is going to be on these parts here. If it's coming the other way, then the shadow is going to be on these parts here. Or you've just got to be consistent. So I don't know, I think I'll have it coming this way, so I'll have shadow on the second section and on the third section and on the inside of the mouth. Okie dokie. Remember what side it is you're going to burn. What's up, Bob? No, it's sticky tape, you're not getting it. This is going to go in here. So this is the area I'm going to be burning. And to do that, you just get a spoon, make sure you sand, we'll do a test burn to make sure it's all right. What I'm looking for, I like doing it to walnut because walnut smells nice. What I'm looking for is when I pull that out, that to be black, which it is. You can see a bit of smoke coming off that. Now, depending on the timber, some timbers burn at different rates. If I put Madrona in there for a second, it goes black. If I put in that Rio rosewood, I could leave it in there for quite some time before it goes black. And you just bring your spoon up, like that. And this is getting quite dark. You can see it's got a lot of black on it, on both sides. Now, I would prefer to have it a little darker than just the right colour I want, because I'm going to actually sand this later on, and when I sand it I'm going to lose some of that charring.